My fiancée said, "Your job is embarrassing. Tell people you're a consultant." I said, "Great advice." So I became a consultant for my own company. I started without telling her. When Forbes featured me 6 months later, her text was, "When you tell me you were successful?" My reply was, "You never asked." Original post: I, 32 male, was engaged to Victoria, 29, for about a year and a half. We'd been together 3 years total. She worked in fashion marketing for some high-end brands, always dressed impeccably, networked with important people. Meanwhile, I was a facilities manager at a mid-sized manufacturing company. Not glamorous, but I made decent money, $78,000 a year, good benefits, stable. The problem started about 8 months ago at her company's holiday party. Black tie event, fancy hotel ballroom, the works. Victoria introduced me to her colleagues, and when they asked what I did, she jumped in before I could answer. "He's in consulting," she said smoothly. I blinked. "Actually, She squeezed my arm. "Hard. Management consulting. Very boring stuff." Later in the car, I confronted her. "What was that about?" She sighed like I was a child who didn't understand basic social dynamics. "Brett, honey, those people don't need to know you manage janitors and fix HVAC systems. I manage a 40-person team and oversee a $3 million operational budget. You're a glorified maintenance supervisor. It's embarrassing." That word, embarrassing, like I was something to be hidden. "My job pays for half our lifestyle, Victoria. But it doesn't sound good at parties, does it? Just tell people you're a consultant. It's vague enough and nobody asks follow-up questions." I sat with that for a week. She was embarrassed of me, of what I did for a living. The guy who made sure her favorite coffee shop had working AC, who kept hospitals running smoothly, who ensured factories met safety standards, that was embarrassing to her. Fine. She wanted me to be a consultant? I'd be a consultant. I didn't quit my job. Not immediately. But I started something on the side. See, in facilities management, you learn a lot about efficiency, cost reduction, compliance, and operations. Turns out, smaller companies desperately need that expertise, but can't afford full-time facilities managers. So I started Meridian Operations Consulting. Just me, working evenings and weekends. My first client was a small medical practice whose energy bills were insane. I restructured their HVAC scheduling, renegotiated their maintenance contracts, and saved them $4K monthly. They referred me to 3 other practices. Victoria never asked about my side work. She'd see me on my laptop and assume I was watching YouTube or whatever. When I said I had consulting calls, she'd roll her eyes and say, "Sure, babe." 3 months in, I had enough steady clients to match my salary. I quit my facilities job and went full-time consultant. When Victoria asked about it, I just said, "You were right, I became a consultant." She literally patted my head. "See? Doesn't that sound better?" Update 1. The business exploded faster than I expected. Turns out, there's massive demand for operational efficiency consulting, especially from companies that can't afford McKinsey prices but still need help. Within 4 months of going full-time, I had to hire 2 contractors to handle the workload. Victoria remained completely oblivious. I worked from home, but she never asked about my work. When her friends asked what kind of consulting I did, she'd wave her hand dismissively and say, "Oh, boring business stuff. Let's talk about something interesting." Meanwhile, my boring business stuff was pulling in $30K a month. I'd landed a contract with a regional hospital network to overhaul their facilities operations. Saved them $2.3 million annually. They became my case study for bigger pitches. Here's the kicker. I kept our finances separate. Victoria insisted on it early in our relationship because she earned more initially and wanted to maintain independence. Perfect. She never saw my business accounts. I maintained our lifestyle exactly as before. Same apartment contribution, same dinners out, same vacation budget. Put everything extra into growing the business and savings. Victoria noticed nothing because she never asked. 5 months in, I hired a PR firm. Not to brag, I genuinely needed help managing inquiries and building the brand. They suggested submitting for some industry recognition. I figured why not? Then Forbes called. They were doing a feature on 30 under 35 entrepreneurs revolutionizing traditional industries. My PR person had pitched them about how I was disrupting facilities consulting by making it accessible to smaller businesses. They wanted an interview. The interview happened during Victoria's work hours. The photo shoot too. When they asked about my motivation, I kept it simple. I saw a gap in the market and filled it. The article wouldn't publish for another month. I said nothing to Victoria. Update 2. The Forbes article went live on a Tuesday morning. The headline: From Facilities Manager to Multi-Million-Dollar Consultant, How Brett Morrison Built Meridian Operations in 6 Months. Multi-million was technically accurate, projected annual revenue based on current contracts. The article included photos of me with some client executives, testimonials about cost savings, the whole deal. My phone started buzzing at 7 a.m. LinkedIn notifications, emails, text messages, former colleagues, college friends, everyone congratulating me. Victoria was in the shower. Her phone was on the nightstand, also buzzing. I saw her best friend Cassandra's name pop up repeatedly. Victoria came out, towel-wrapped, grabbed her phone. Her face went through about 6 different expressions as she scrolled. "Brett, what is this?" I was making coffee. "What's what?" She held up her phone, showing the Forbes article. "This, why is Forbes writing about you?" "Oh that, they wanted to feature the consulting firm." "What consulting firm?" "Meridian Operations, my company." She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. "Your company? Since when do you have a company?" "Since you told me to be a consultant, about 6 months ago." "Why didn't you tell me?" I sipped my coffee. "You never asked." She actually screamed. Like full-on screamed. "I never asked? You're in Forbes and you didn't think to mention it? You said my work was boring. You told people not to ask me about it at parties. Why would I burden you with the details?" Her phone kept buzzing. She was reading messages in real time, her face getting redder. "My friends are asking why I didn't tell them my fiancé was successful. Cassandra just sent me the article with, girl, why were you hiding this?" What am I supposed to say? The truth? That you didn't know because you never asked about my embarrassing job? She threw her phone on the bed. "This is insane. We're getting married in 4 months and you've been running a secret company?" "It's not secret. It's registered, has a website, pays taxes. You just never looked. Hell, I've been taking calls in front of you for months. You just assumed they weren't important." That's when the real kicker happened. Her phone rang. Her mom. Victoria answered on speaker. "Hi, Mom. Victoria Marie Thornton. I just saw the Forbes article that Jennifer forwarded me. Your fiancé is a millionaire and you never mentioned it? Do you know how this makes our family look?" "Mom, Jennifer's daughter's boyfriend just made partner at some law firm and she's been bragging for weeks. Meanwhile, your fiancé is in Forbes and I'm finding out from her? This is humiliating." Victoria hung up and glared at me. "You did this on purpose." "Did what? Became successful? Yeah, I guess I did." Update 3. The next few days were absolutely insane. Victoria went through the 5 stages of grief but somehow made each one about her. Denial. This has to be some mistake. Forbes must have exaggerated. I showed her our business bank statements, 6 figures in monthly revenue. She actually gasped. Anger. You lied to me. For months. I never lied. I told you I became a consultant. You literally patted my head like I was a dog who learned a trick. Bargaining. Okay, I shouldn't have called your job embarrassing, but we can work through this. We're a team. Are we? Because teammates usually know what position the other one plays. Depression. She cried to her friends about how I'd betrayed her. Posted vague Instagram stories about trust in relationships and going through something. Acceptance. This is where things got interesting. By day 3, Victoria had completely rewritten history. At a dinner with her friends, she was suddenly the supportive fiancé who'd encouraged me to start my own business. "I always knew Brett had potential," she said, while I sat there stunned. "That's why I pushed him to aim higher than facilities management." Cassandra looked skeptical. "But you said." "I motivated him through tough love," Victoria interrupted. "Sometimes people need that push." I excused myself to the bathroom and didn't come back for 15 minutes. When I returned, Victoria was showing them properties on her phone. "Now that Brett's business is doing well, we can finally upgrade. I'm thinking something downtown, maybe a penthouse." "We haven't discussed moving," I said. She laughed. "Don't be silly, babe. We can't stay in that tiny apartment now." That night, she tried to seduce me. Full lingerie, candles, the works. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "My successful man, We're gonna be such a power couple. I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. Victoria, we need to talk about the wedding. She smiled. I know, we can afford to upgrade everything now. I'll call the planner tomorrow about... I want to postpone it. The smile froze. What? I need time to think. This whole situation has shown me that we have fundamental issues. What issues? You're successful. I'm successful. We're perfect together. You didn't even know what I did for a living. You were embarrassed of me. That was before. Before you knew I had money? She actually had the audacity to look offended. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? It's about you hiding things from me. About trust. I laughed. Actually laughed. You want to talk about trust? You told me to lie to people about my job. You never once asked about my day, my work, my dreams. You treated me like an accessory that needed to be polished up for public consumption. I was trying to help you. No, you were trying to help yourself. You were embarrassed of me. Update 4. Victoria went nuclear after I postponed the wedding. But not publicly. Oh no, she was too smart for that. Publicly, she was the supportive fiancée standing by her man during his overwhelming success adjustment period. Privately, she unleashed psychological warfare. First, she tried to get access to the business. We're engaged, Brett. We should merge our finances now. It's what couples do. You wanted separate finances, remember? For independence? That was before you had a company. Partners share everything. We're not married. And the business is incorporated solely under my name. She then tried to insert herself into operations. Started showing up at my home office during client calls, dressed to the nines, introducing herself as co-founder. I had to send a company-wide email clarifying the organizational structure. That didn't go over well. Then came the ultimatum dinner. She'd made reservations at the most expensive restaurant in town. Brett, I've been patient, but we need to set a new wedding date. I'm not ready. It's been 3 weeks since Forbes. How much time do you need? Victoria, do you love me? Of course. Why? She listed my qualities. Ambitious, successful, driven, going places. What about before, when I was just a facilities manager? You were different then. How? You weren't living up to your potential. So you didn't love me then? I loved who you could become. There it was. The truth. And if the business fails tomorrow? If I go back to facilities management? She was quiet for a long time. Why would you even say that? Because I need to know if you love me or my bank account. That's unfair. Is it? You literally told people I was a consultant because my real job embarrassed you. Now you're planning penthouses and destination weddings. What changed, Victoria? Me or my net worth? She stood up, threw her napkin down. I don't have to listen to this. When you're ready to appreciate what I bring to this relationship, call me. She stormed out. Left me with the $400 check, which I found ironically appropriate. Update 5. Victoria's campaign to salvage our relationship lasted exactly 1 more week. During that time, she, 1. Had her mom call me about not throwing away something special. 2. Sent flowers to my office. I work from home, so they went to my apartment building's front desk. 3. Posted multiple Instagram photos of us with captions about weathering storms together. 4. Told mutual friends I was having a mental health crisis from the pressure. That last one pissed me off enough to take action. I called our mutual friends for a dinner party. My treat. Victoria wasn't invited. At dinner, after a few drinks, I pulled up my phone. So Victoria's been saying I'm having a mental health crisis. I want to show you all something. I played a recording. Yeah, I'd been recording our conversation since the Forbes article. Legal in our state as long as one party consents. Victoria's voice filled the private dining room. His job is embarrassing. He manages janitors. I just tell people he's a consultant, so I don't have to explain that my fiancé is basically a glorified maintenance man. Everyone went silent. Then another recording, from after Forbes. I always knew he had potential. I pushed him to be better. Really, I deserve credit for his success. Then the kicker, from our last fight. If he thinks I'm staying with him, if this business fails, he's delusional. I have standards. Our friend group exploded. Half were disgusted with Victoria, half were mad at me for recording her. I didn't care. The truth was out. Victoria called me screaming that night. You played private conversations to our friends? You told them I was mentally unstable. I provided evidence to the contrary. I'm done. We're over. You're a manipulative asshole. Cool, I'll box up your stuff. And I want my ring back. The ring you picked out and made me buy because it was investment quality? Sure. I have the receipt, and the appraisal showing it's worth 30% less than we paid. You can have it. I also want compensation. For what? Emotional distress, defamation. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself. I just provided the audio. She hung up. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. Final update. Victoria's final play was both predictable and pathetic. She went full social media influencer mode, pivoting to heartbroken but strong independent woman. She started a blog, Dating Up, When Success Changes Your Partner. Every post was a thinly veiled attack on me, how I'd changed, become money-obsessed, and forgot where I came from. The irony was incredible. She was literally monetizing our breakup with affiliate links and sponsored content about healing from toxic relationships. But she made one crucial mistake. She included details about my business, claiming she'd been an unofficial advisor and demanding credit for my success. She even posted behind-the-scenes content suggesting she'd helped land major clients. My lawyer sent a cease and desist. She ignored it. So I did what any good consultant would do. I provided data. I created a simple website, The Truth About Meridian Operations. Timeline of the company's founding, all documentation showing sole ownership, client testimonials specifically stating they'd never met Victoria, and the kicker, a recording of her saying, "I don't care about your boring business stuff," when I tried to tell her about landing the hospital contract. But I didn't publish it. I sent her the link privately with a message, "Remove all references to my business from your blog in 48 hours or this goes live." She called immediately. "You wouldn't dare. Try me. This is blackmail. This is context management. You want to monetize our breakup? Fine, but you don't get to lie about my business. I'll sue you." With what money? The influencer revenue from your 2,000 followers? She scrubbed her blog that night. But the internet never forgets. Her friends had seen it, screenshot it, and the truth was already out there. 3 months later, I ran into Cassandra at a coffee shop. "How's Victoria?" I asked. "You don't know?" "We don't talk. She's dating some crypto guy. Keeps posting about finally finding someone on her level. He drives a leased Lamborghini and lives with 3 roommates." "Sounds about right, Brett. She messed up. She knows it." "Does she though?" "She saw your company just got that government contract, the $10 million one." "Ugh." She cried for a week. "Not my problem anymore." Cassandra stirred her coffee. "For what it's worth, we all knew she was wrong about your job being embarrassing. My dad was a plumber. Best man I ever knew. Victoria she got lost in the image." "She didn't get lost. That's who she always was." 6 months after the breakup, Forbes did a follow-up piece. The consultant who doubled down, Meridian Operations Explosive Growth. This time they asked about work-life balance and relationships. I kept it simple. Success means nothing if the people around you only value your net worth. I learned that lesson the expensive way, but it was worth the tuition. Victoria texted me after it published. "That was about me, wasn't it?" I replied, "You never asked." Then I blocked her. The business now has 23 employees and offices in 3 cities. We just landed a contract with a major university system. My biggest regret isn't the relationship ending. It's that I ever let someone make me feel ashamed of honest work. Oh, and I still list my official title as former glorified maintenance supervisor in my email signature. Clients love it. It's authentic, humble, and shows I understand operations from the ground up. Victoria still tells people she dated that Forbes guy at parties, according to mutual acquaintances. Apparently, she leaves out the part where she didn't know about the Forbes article until it was published. The best revenge wasn't building a successful company out of spite. It was proving that the embarrassing facilities manager she was ashamed of had more business acumen than she ever recognized. Every contract I sign, every client I help, every employee I hire is a reminder that expertise isn't about image, it's about value. And that's something Victoria never understood. Last I heard, the crypto boyfriend's Lamborghini got repossessed. Victoria's Instagram went private after that. Cassandra says she's taking a social media break to focus on personal growth. Sure she is. Meanwhile, I just hired my 24th employee, a brilliant operations analyst who spent 10 years as a janitor while getting her night school MBA. Victoria would probably find her background embarrassing. I find it inspiring. That's the difference between us. I see value in people's work and experience. She only saw surface-level prestige. Guess which perspective builds multi-million-dollar businesses? You never have to ask.